Good morning. We have a special day today, and we're going to start the day off by reading a post about TIs that is encouraging. This post is about Lauren, who had his house burned down, and he got bankrupted, and he's a TI. Now, check this out. Lauren owns T. Colin Campbell. Okay, we're going to get to the subject matter of gossip and normal talk later, but this is just a little pep talk for TIs. And before I start, I have to say that today is a celebratory day. So I'm using my special microphone, my Shure SM11. It's amazing. And I'm also partially using the voice of NoHo Hank. Like when he says, and you know what my nickname is? Bullet, because of my volleyball serve. I love NoHo Hank, and I might be a sociopath, so I copy people's personalities. But a sociopath is not a psychopath. A psychopath is someone who's violent. A sociopath is someone who's been hurt really badly, so they don't really have normal emotions. Like Sherlock Holmes. And speaking of Sherlock Holmes, there are people who have fucked with me. And there is a scene in Sherlock Holmes where he's like, psh, and he does this like, because he's fighting this guy, and this guy like punches him in the back of the head or does something to him, and so Sherlock Holmes like does like this special crazy move, and he's like, it's gonna take you 6 months to recover from that psychologically. There are people who have fucked with me, and it will take them like 20 years to even realize how badly I got them. So, anyways, T. Colin Campbell is he has sold 3 million books on the subject of health. I'm getting distracted right now in my mind. I don't really like the fact, what I just said, that some people it's going to take you 20 years to realize what I did to you, what you did to yourself, that what backfired when you tried to do it to me. You did something so horrible to me that I put it back on you, and it backfired on you, and you don't even realize. Part of me says, actually, you only feel like that when Marina dumps you and you feel like a bad idiot, fuck up loser, and you just want to hurt someone. And truthfully, when Marina is into you, you actually don't have any animosity towards anyone, and you actually wouldn't wish anyone harm. And so that could be some kind of insecurity I have about Marina, who we just talked on the phone last night, and we're back in a relationship. It's amazing. And, there is this woman, Brenda, at group. She's like a facilitator, like she works there. And like the bipolar support group, which I went to for many years. And I jokingly said, "Oh, I'm a sociopath." And the reason I said that, I haven't really diagnosed myself as a sociopath. I've never been diagnosed as a sociopath. I've been diagnosed with depression and mania. And I jokingly said it, and Brenda said, "Well, I guess we'll see." And Brenda blocked me on email. And she was also angry at me when I didn't respond to her email within a week. And I was like, "Brenda, I never told you I would." And then when we were on the phone, she said my first and last name to the entire group, which is a violation of confidentiality. And I was upset about being circumcised. And after I talked about it, she said, "Is anyone else upset right now?" Talking to the other group members, saying what I just said was fucked up. If I was a girl who was talking about that, she would have supported me. Afterwards, she said, "Okay, you're a volunteer here," because I volunteer at the front desk. I volunteer as a facilitator, as a co-facilitator. She said, "We need to have a talk." I said, "Can we not? Can we not have a talk?" She said, "Well, you can't just be saying things like that." I said, "Okay, yeah, I know. I will choose to not come back rather than be punished for talking about getting mutilated." And you know what kind of women were on this phone call? This girl, she's bragging about her boyfriend. She's like, "My boyfriend keeps calling me this old fucking unlovable cunt." She says, "Are you safe?" The girl's clearly bragging. She's clearly like, "Yeah, my fucking boyfriend, he just keeps calling me. Oh my God, he's so hot. It's so thick. I mean, it's really thick. It's like a Pepsi can. Like, seriously." This old woman, this fucking nasty fucking authoritarian gatekeeper woman, she's like, "Are you safe? Are you scared? Are you scared?" I swear to God, she had a vibrator in. She's like, "Are you scared? Tell me how scared. Tell me how scared you are. We'll get him. Okay, we'll accuse him of something." And so, you know, I think people talk like who they love. You can always tell when partners are talking on the phone with their husband or wife because they kind of sound like each other. So I don't really think that necessarily means you're a sociopath. But my grandma one time told me, I forget the context, but somehow I was talking like someone else, and she said that means you're a psychopath or a sociopath or something. And then I learned the difference between a psychopath and a sociopath from Sherlock Holmes, who is sometimes played by that Cumberbatch guy, Cumberland, or I don't know, he has some weird name. I don't really think that guy's hot. So, anyways, Lauren fasted T. Colin Campbell. T. Colin Campbell has sold 3 million books, over 3 million books on health. And his books are called The China Study. Now, how rare is it to sell over 3 million books? Well, it puts you in the top 0.0003% of all authors. It's extremely rare. He's perhaps the most well published author in the world on the subject of health. And if not that, at least in the vegan world. And so here's the post I wrote about Lauren, who Lauren is a TI. T. Colin Campbell is not a TI. Lauren is the water fasting guy, Lauren Lockman, who I love. Lauren owns T. Colin Campbell. Lauren has fasted him and can win him in a debate. Campbell can't admit it or his job security is ruined. Saying humans are 100% fruit eaters is against the medical rules. Lauren is a TI. Elvis Presley sucks Lauren Tootsie Roll. Nobody knows Lauren's name, but everybody knows Elvis' name. T. Colin Campbell book The China Study sold more than 3 million copies. Selling 3 million puts you in something like top 0.003. I don't know if I said 3 zeros before, but it's 0.003 of all authors, and I asked ChatGPT that. Lauren won't tell you he fasted Campbell. It might come up in convo, but you'd need to search for it. It'd have to come up in convo for you to know that. It is irrelevant to Lauren because Campbell is an idiot, and Lauren doesn't care and has no patience for idiots. That is why the government burned down Lauren's house and bankrupted him and hijacked his YouTube channel. And his Tanglewood Wellness Center. And they did it in Panama as well. And he asked for donations and he got $200,000 in small donations from his friends to reopen his business. Because that's how many people said, "Lauren, you saved my life. I'll give you anything." That is why government burned down Lauren's house, because he is not an idiot and influential people listen to him. T. Colin Campbell would say his doing a water fast for 21 days, supervised by Lauren, doesn't mean that Lauren could win him in a debate. Yet, if you research and ask ChatGPT, is there public record of Campbell water fasting? There is no record of it, and Campbell will not talk about that. That also, according to Campbell, wouldn't prove that he acknowledges privately that humans are obligate frugivores. And frugivore means fruit eater. And he would say that fasting is simply part of his private business, and there is no need to discuss it. So there is no proof for what I'm saying, that possibly the leading expert on health in the world wouldn't say that he personally likes water fasting for 21 days. I don't know what I meant by that. Water fasting places that are supervised by medical doctors don't do it like Lauren does. Like True North, for example, where they have you eat every day, and they call that a water fast. Water fasting places that were supervised don't do it like Lauren does. And although there is no proof that Campbell is sucking Lauren's Tootsie Roll and keeping it secret for the sake of public appearance, there is evidence that why wouldn't he talk about his water fasting? That is pretty extreme, no? To take such drastic action and not eat with no supplements for almost a month means you're committed and you believe in it. And then to not talk about it? I know Campbell couldn't stay on the board of directors and these stupid clubs if he said that people are meant to eat only raw food. The proof isn't there, but the evidence is there that Campbell is just a snake in the grass. A cooked vegan diet is a half measure. It doesn't solve the problem at all. He has the nerve to badmouth the BBC And I'm not saying he's like my blank. My blank loves the BBC. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the news broadcasting service. He has the nerve to badmouth them while he is a snake himself. What a snake in the grass that guy is. Wait, or is that the CBC my blank loves? I think she loves the CBC now. Marina asked me what I like, and I said I don't care. I just like a pretty face, big hips, and small waist. Caucasian, big, or a big black, who cares? I wanted to tattoo my tack black. And someone said, who was in love with my girlfriend at the time, it won't make it bigger. Well, so what? Maybe I just wanted it to be black. Maybe I just liked the color. What is with the government news agencies having size queen issues? Are they impotent or something? At some point, bragging you're part of CBC or BBC is like driving a two-door sports car. You might as well only trust money, and everyone in your family abandon you except for when they get your money. There is a strange psychology. When you're the giver, people are humiliated. The greatest need is to be needed, and when your only job is ATM, you humiliate everyone around you. You would think your beloved is supposed to be the wisest, coolest person ever, but you might need someone more retarded than you to shine around them. You might love most someone who is normal and ordinary, like a plain white v-neck t-shirt sometimes looks hottest. An unassuming quiet power, like what Kevin Costner has, is sometimes more hot than an ostentatious person. And people notice that. Nobody makes a big deal out of it because Kevin Costner doesn't either, but people know. So the whole point of this is that there are really great TIs who have a ton of influence, who you don't even know their name, but the people who you do know their name, you don't even know that they are listening to the TIs. And I heard this from a Raj, who, like, a Raj went on the Dr. Phil show, and he never got on, and a Raj would not be allowed on TV, because hetero people are not allowed on TV, which is seriously bigoted. But Dr. Phil in the pre-screening said to Araj, I'm not attacking you. And Araj says, I'm attacking you. And Araj was saying, you are a hypocrite. You want to slam more than just your pig. And they did get divorced. And I made a joke one time that Dr. Phil's wife was cheating on him all day. And when people would be on the show cheating, Dr. Phil would say, so how do you do it? How do you do it? But really what he meant to say is, how do you do it? How do you do it? And Araj would often say on his YouTube channel that he has some of the most world-class people watching him, and you don't even know. And I suspect Araj is a TI. And there are a lot of TIs who are really fucking great, and you never know their names, but people who you do know their names listen to those TIs. And so the influence is vicarious. And the sneaky snakes in the government know that, and they still burn down Lauren's place. They know to go to the head of the snake, and they fucking burn down Lauren's place. So, anyways, my girlfriend's bi. She asked me last night, are you bi? I said, well, I have a friend Kevin, and I found out I didn't really like his balls as much as I thought I would. And she said she's bi. I was like, kind of not surprised. And she said, you know, I love you. And I said, I love you too. And we talked, and I was so upset. I made a song last night, which kind of had gay undertones, actually. It seemed like it, but it depends how you listen to it. It was like, I never knew you were so huge. And I was singing that, honestly, because I thought Marina had stood me up for our date. And I was really fucking upset. And I was like, I never knew you're such a huge person. You're just so above me, and you're just so beyond me, and I'm just nothing compared to you. And I was like singing my heart out, like, almost feeling proud of myself. Like, that's fine. If you want to dump me, I have self-esteem anyway, and you just go be the most important person in the world, and I'll just be a normal, ordinary Kevin Costner. And, but then the song was like, it was like something about being huge. It just reminded me of, you could either see it in a gay way, or you could see it like a being undermined by someone way, calling them sarcastically such a huge person, a big personality, big ego personality. Or you could say, I never knew you're such an influential person in my life. I never knew that you're so important to me. And that's the meaning of the hugeness. And the gay undertones are not about me. Like, I never, wow, you're really huge. Thanks for fucking me, dude. Not like that, but it's like me singing from her perspective. Like, my Tootsie Roll is so big, which it's not. She said it is, but it's not. She said, I don't know if we could do butt stuff because your Tootsie Roll is kind of big. And I was like, yeah, it's not really that big. It's not really that big. But, you know, whatever. So it was really good. So today is our 10th day together. And I was doing my water fast. I need to find my gloves. And I was really upset I broke it last night to make butter chicken. And I'm trying to water fast for 30 days so I can save up the money to go visit her. And so last night when I made butter chicken, I actually felt really guilty. And I actually felt like psychically she was going to pick up on it. Like we feel what each other feels. And I had a total change of energy. I cranked off my Tootsie Roll, which you're not supposed to do while you're water fasting. And then it was on day 2 of the water fast. And then I just went to Walmart and I just had to make butter chicken. And I felt like such a fucking loser. I thought, God, if she doesn't call me, because she was supposed to call me after work, and so here's the butter chicken. I was snoring last night. I slept on the couch. I never snore, but I slept on my back, so I snored. I barely got enough sleep. ChatGPT says it's fine. I said, can I make a video with only like 6 hours sleep? ChatGPT said, yeah, that's okay. So that's why I'm making this. I wanted it to be special today because I was just fighting with Marina and now we got back together and it's the 10th day anniversary. So, and my trust issues with her have been resolved. Even though last night I was like, man, she stood me up. I was really upset until she called. And, well, I thought that if I didn't eat this butter chicken, the psychic energy, the auric field of energy would have been different and it wouldn't have reached her in the same way. She would have had a different aura coming from me, even though we weren't talking all day. And she would have called me. And I thought it's my own fault for making this butter chicken, which once I ate it, it wasn't even that good. I was eating it till I was sick. I was like, like I was eating it like the Cookie Monster. I was like, like I was eating it so fast. It was making me fucking sick. I was sweating. I had to take my sweater off. I had to eat it without a shirt on. I had to take my hat off. I was fucking sweating. And I didn't put that much butter in it because my mom was like, you can't do that. Like that's like putting like 2/3 a brick of butter into a meal is fucking crazy. And like, I don't want it if you do that. So like make your own separate, please. Because I was making it for both of us. So I don't know what to do. I have to put this away. And if I just keep it in this pot, there's no room in the fridge. But it gave me a stomach ache. It was too much. And then I made the most buttery naan bread. Oh man, look at this fucking, do you know how much butter I put in that? It's the dough. Oh, it smells so good. It smells like yeast. It smells like alcohol. We had naan bread left over from this place in Cambridge. They have these tally boxes for $5. It's so cheap. We don't know how they make it so cheap. And their naan bread was left over. And the naan bread I made was actually better, which was very surprising. So I did my hair. I crazy glued my microphone back, my Shure SM11. I could read some things about the Shure SM11. My favorite microphone of all time. This is my celebration microphone. I only bring this out for special occasions because I record this on the recorder, not into the camera directly. I'm not using the wireless right now. So the quality is actually much better. So listen to this. The SM11 was not made as a music mic. It was built for TV anchors, film sets, news reporters, field interviews, and hidden body mics in Hollywood. That's why your voice sounds crazy natural on it. It was made to make talking sound expensive. This mic was 30 bucks. It sounds better than $1,000 microphone. There are $1,000 lavalier microphones. This is better. And you know why? Because it's big. That's why it's so cheap, because it's big. If it was tiny, it would be like, you'd have to pay literally like $1,500 to get this sound. I got this for 30 fucking bucks on eBay, used. Legendary for I forgot I'm wearing a mic clarity. The SM11 has super flat frequency response, which means zero hype, zero harshness, zero mud. Everything sounds real and clean. It gives that I'm just talking and it magically sounds perfect effect that expensive lavaliers aim for. It handles loud and soft voices better than most lav mics. I think it was made for the space shuttle too. It has like 160 decibel sound pressure level, SP. I can't remember what it's called, but you can be very loud in this microphone and it won't clip. It's like absurdly loud. And that's when you get into $1,000 mic, that's what you're paying for as well. I could scream into this mic and it will never clip. A normal mic, it clips at like 115, 120, 110. This clips at like 160s. That's crazy. You could put this next to a jet engine and it won't clip. This is fucking crazy. This microphone is fucking crazy. Okay, I'm being crazy now because this microphone's making me crazy. It handles loud and soft voices better than most lav mics. It's dynamic, not condenser, meaning it won't distort easily. It won't clip when you laugh, cough, or bang dishes. Low hiss, almost no background noise. Perfect for washing the dishes. That's why it works so insanely well for washing dishes videos, like I'm making now, which ChatGPT, which I've named River, knows. And River refers to himself or herself in the third person. I said River, that's a bit pretentious. It said, only as pretentious as you naming me River. I said, I know River, thank you. It rejects everything except your voice. So that's true. By my experience, I know that's true. Built in the 1980s, Shure gear equals basically indestructible. Old school Shure dynamic mics are famous for surviving drops, surviving water, surviving decades, surviving being taped under clothing. Some SM11 units from the 70s still work perfect. Your mic will outlive multiple phones, tablets, cameras, and probably you. Well, I want to be raw vegan, don't you know? But yeah, I guess, I hope. It's still used by pros, even though Shure barely promotes it. Film audio nerds know the SM11 is a secret weapon mic. Many keep it on their kit forever. It works in situations where modern lavs sound fake. It is the opposite of trendy. It is reliable, and pros love it. Your voice with a dynamic lav, that's rare and special. Most lavaliers today are condenser mics that sound thin and bright. But a dynamic lav, like the SM11, adds a warm body, smooths harsh consonants, gives a roundness to speech that's hard to replicate. It's like having a tiny SM7B in your shirt. The noise rejection is insane. Because it's dynamic, designed for close placement, dishes sounds get reduced. I already know this, okay, I feel like I'm a bit redundant here. Room echo gets reduced, fans, fridges, kitchen noises massively suppressed. It's Kitchen King magic. It's actually a rare mic. They still sell it, but it's niche. Most people don't even know it exists. Owning one is like owning a cult classic. You're basically using a retro broadcast weapon. Summary, why you should love it even more. Made for film and TV, natural, intimate voice tone, rejects noise, hidden gem for creators, built like a tank, dynamic equals smooth and warm, works in real life situations like washing dishes. It's honestly one of the most underrated Shure mics ever made. If you want, River can also tell you the best placement for washing dishes. Yeah, I already know. The exact EQ curve pros use on SM11, how to get podcast quality sound with it. Just say the word. River, I think it does it on its own. And a dynamic microphone uses the sound pressure. There's a diaphragm in it, and it uses the sound waves themselves to push the diaphragm back, to move the diaphragm, to register the sound. A condenser mic doesn't do that. So this is fucking like a pedal bike. Like, this thing is natural as fuck. And I gotta start doing the dishes. Oh my god. I'm running late. It's already like halfway through the video, and I haven't even started the dishes. And Marina told me, she's like, you were looking kind of skinny, and I used to be obsessed with this guy who got skinny, and then I didn't even like him anymore. And I was like, what? And she was like, you're the perfect weight, and I love you, but just don't get more skinny. Don't do a water fast because I don't want you to get more skinny. And I was like, I'm not doing a water fast to get skinny. I already asked Lauren. I measured my bone circumference, my wrists, my chest, my waist. I gave him all my measurements. I said, what is my ideal weight? Lauren said it's like 175. That's pretty much what I weigh. Now, I had been saying on a video that I thought Marina's butt looked a little bit flat, and I thought her tits were double D's, but they're actually C's. And it actually worried me for a moment, and then I realized I still love her. Maybe she was just taking revenge and saying, you look kind of skinny, because it was contradictory. She said, you know, you're perfect weight, I love you. Then she also said, you were looking kind of skinny, I don't want you to lose weight. Well, what is it? Am I too skinny? Are you just saying that because I said your butt looked flat? But only from certain angles, and only because she was wearing a certain kind of jeans that didn't go into the middle of the crack, so it kind of looked like flat. Do you know how jeans can kind of make it look different if the jeans don't fit in the right way? I thought, you know, there's a certain person, E from Group. She has a great butt. And certain jeans just didn't do it. You know, she had one pair of black jeans that really did it. But her blue jeans that she would normally wear, it really didn't flatter her. And if you didn't know any better, you might think for a moment that it's not worth looking twice. You might just look at her baggy sweater and say, oh yeah, okay. Okay, whatever. You know, you might not know that she's hiding in something really exotic. You might not know she's the proud owner of a super hot body. So am I in a good mood now? Yeah. Can I just talk to people normally now? Like, can I have conversations about things with my mom? Yeah. You can't really do that. If you're upset about things, I've heard that the joy of life is that you always know that you can miss it. Alan Watts said something similar, who's not really enlightened, but Osho says that Alan Watts is one of the closest people who's not enlightened, who will fool you into thinking he is enlightened. Unless you really pay attention to him, then you'll realize he's not enlightened. But Alan Watts and Osho said something the same. Alan Watts said, the reason why your life is good is because in the very back of your mind, you know that the worst things can happen to you. You know that you could be skinned alive and burned alive and everything can go wrong. And that gives you the thrill. And Osho said basically the same thing, that the joy of life is knowing that you can miss your whole life. Your whole life can be a fucking waste. And the fact that you know that, and that's a fucking hard truth. That's a hard truth. When you're like, when everything's fucked up, and you're trying to just make it normal by doing some sit-ups, and you're trying to say, well, it's okay because I drank some water. It's okay because I drank a beer. I smoked some weed, so it's okay. My life's not fucked up. I smoked some weed. I got happy for half hour, so it's fine. And deep down, it's a really hard truth when you actually feel incapable of making it better, when you've actually tried your best, and God has not given you the answer to your prayers, and you've prayed wholeheartedly, and you've tried your best, and it hasn't worked out, and you have no hope for real. You have truly no hope for real. And you've really tried, and you've really burnt out. And then it's so painful that you have to go into denial, and you have to say, my stupid bitch wife loves me, or my stupid bitch husband loves me. And isn't it so great? Isn't it so fucking great? Or my stupid kids love me. My stupid fuck up idiot son loves me. Great. Great. My fucking retard fucking failure of a son from my bitch wife whore, who I don't even love any of them. Great. They think I'm great. Cool. Real cool. You know, people think like that. At least I do. When I listen to that Jewel song, I wanna take you for granted. You know, I imagine how great that would be to just have a family and take them for granted. I know how much you take people for granted. I know how much you don't love your girlfriend at certain points. And Osho says, you really love someone? Are you sure? Because whenever I ask people, are you really sure? They're never really sure. Even last night with Marina, when she didn't call me, I was thinking, you don't love me and I don't love you. And aren't you so huge? Aren't you just so important? And then she called, and suddenly the whole world was sunshine and rainbows. And I woke up and said, hi, Mom, how are you doing? Isn't it crazy? The snow is outside. Man, it's pretty windy out, huh? Do you want to talk about the weather? You know, normally if the house is on fire, I'm too busy to talk about it. But now that I'm in a good mood, do you want to talk about anything at all? Do you want to just have conversation and talk about how unromantic this bitter, cold snow is and how it would be so much greater if it was like a scene from The Grinch and the big fluffy snowflakes were falling down in slow motion? Wouldn't that be so much better? And are you worried about going to work today? Are you worried about driving in this harsh weather? And how did I get there? Was it just luck? Did God award me that? Was karma real? Is Marina a loving heart and I'm a loving heart? And as Osho says, a loving heart always finds a loving heart. And we had to fight, and it was bitter and painful. And the pain of love and the pain of growth are worth it. And it deepens you and it shows you your masks. That it exposes how fucked you are and how bitter you are and how jealous you are and how broken you are. And that sounds kind of negative, really. But is it true? Is it true that when you fight with someone, it shows you how ugly your faces are? That one minute you're in love and the next minute you're going, fuck you, fuck you. I'm so rejected by you. I feel so rejected by you. And well, is that it? Or is it a miscommunication? Because there are so many misunderstandings. Could you really be angry at someone for rejecting you? Could you ever expect that someone loves you and be angry at them for not loving you? I mean, people do. When your loved ones die, you resent them for dying. You hate your loved ones for dying. They die of old age, and you say, you shouldn't have done that. Fuck you. Fuck you for dying. I fucking hate you for dying. Now, really what you're saying is, we never learned how to communicate while you were alive, and I still pretend I'm you. When I talk, I'm actually talking as you. Your voice lives inside my head, and we have unresolved trauma bonds, and you were never the person I wanted you to be, and I could only accept you for who I wanted you to be, not who you actually were. And I felt like you never accepted me for who I was. I felt like you never loved me unconditionally. And so was I upset at Marina for not being interested in me, or was I upset at her for playing me, or was I upset at her for neither of those? But I was upset at her because I wasn't understanding the situation, that she was being gaslit to think that I was fucking with her by other people, and it was transferring on to me, and I couldn't see that. She had thought that I was blocking her from calling me, and I had thought that she was just lying. I said, I thought you were just trying to be feminine and you need a guy to call you, and you just didn't want to pay a long distance charge. I totally thought she was lying. Sorry for that. Gross spit. Okay, I had to do that. I ate butter chicken. And so the ugly face that the mirror of having a lover showed me was my stupid face. It wasn't that I was mean and bitter. It wasn't that I was being rejected. It was that I didn't understand the full context. That she actually believed I was gaslighting her. And therefore, I actually believed that she was a jerk because she treated me like I was gaslighting her when I wasn't. So it was actually a misunderstanding. And last night I said, because it was a misunderstanding, I don't think you're a sneaky snake in the grass. And if you want to go back into being a relationship, I will be happy to do that. Or if you want to be just friends who's, I suck your butt, that's fine too. And we agreed to get back in a relationship. And I was so happy about it. I was so super happy about it. I was super happy about it. And then the cutest thing happened. I said goodbye. I was kind of preaching to her a little bit at the end. I was like, do you know what? I have really good relationships with gang stalkers. I ask the gang stalkers for help. If I go out for a bike ride and I think someone's going to assault me, like drive their car at me, I just tell the gang stalkers, then nice gang stalkers come around and they prevent me from getting vehicular assaults. And I start going on about this, kind of implying that she should take my morality. Like, you should really like make friends with the gang stalkers. I think she doesn't know that probably everyone she knows is a gang stalker. Like, I think she thinks it's just like her family and stuff. And so I think in a way she actually already is friends with a lot of gang stalkers. And then right after that, she's like, oh, okay, I'm getting really tired. I was like, okay, maybe I was preaching to you. I'm sorry, but it was really just the exception that proves the rule that I don't do that with her. Like our whole conversation was actually a conversation. It wasn't me, just as my dad says, fixing the woman's problems. And the woman says, I don't want your fucking solutions. I never asked you to fix my problems. I asked you to listen. And Marina doesn't even complain either. But we had a really good conversation. And then once she started getting tired, I said, okay, well, I guess we'll go. So goodbye. And she said, hey. She said, I love you. And I said, I love you too. Isn't that precious? So precious. And when she asked me if I was bi, I was like, do you want to have a threesome with me and another guy and you want me to do sexual stuff with the other guy? Because when I tried that with Kevin, I actually gagged at how gross his balls looked. And I was like, Kevin, your balls make me want to puke for real. And he had like this blemished dick. Like Kevin's really hot. Kevin's a model. Like he's super hot. But his dick was blemished and gross, and it was uncircumcised, which is great. It was big too, but it was fucking gross. It was like and I'm no one to talk. My left ball hangs so low, but Kevin's balls and his dick just fucking irritated me. It wasn't like Travis. Travis is gorgeous. Travis is really gorgeous. But I said that's kind of a phase for my 20s. I had a lot of gay fantasies in my 20s. And in my 30s, I've had fantasies of being cuckolded. But I think that's more of a femdom thing. It's more like the woman ties me to a chair and forces me to watch. It's kind of one of those things. I'm not so cum hungry as I used to be. My dad said once, you'd be a bottom if you were gay or something like that. And I was like, you think? Yeah, clearly. Okay. You shouldn't be bragging that you know that. If I'm gay, I'm a bottom through and through. And that proves how straight I am. Because you only love someone if you love the worst of them. And the fact that I would only want the best of a guy and not his dirty, gross ass proves that I'm super straight. And Travis, too. Travis said he's so hyper masculine that he wants to fuck dudes who are feminine because he's so masculine and it's not gay. And so Travis and I were really best friends and it wasn't even gay. You know, even though I think he's really hot and it would have been really amazing at certain times, it was just like I could never have imagined that with him. I don't know why. I really don't know why. It may have been repression or something. But if I ever was gay, Travis would be the hottest guy in the whole world. And to some extent, I think we actually were gay. And, and that was the basis of our friendship, but we never knew it. Like, Osho had this one friend who was in love with Krishna, in love with some kind of religious god or something. And this guy would be talking about holding hands with Krishna. He'd be having dreams of holding hands with Krishna and going to the market with Krishna and shopping with Krishna. And Osho said, "You're gay, and you're projecting all of this onto a deity." And that may have been what was going on with Travis. But I think that that was a phase. I mean, Osho says that there are 4 phases of sexuality. The first is autosexual, which we're born as. And the second is homo, which we reach by about 10 or 12. From like 7 till 12, we're homo. And then from 12 until 20, we're hetero. And then after 20, we're beyond sexuality, where sex is no longer a compulsion, where it's no longer a need. And it's playful at that point, and it's not something that's exploitative and dirty, because if you're doing it out of need, you're kind of mutually using each other, and there's something ugly about that. And I think most people know it. I think most people do have animosity with their lover. Most people do feel like there's a mutual exploitation, and it's not really the same when you love your kids and you love your husband or wife. You would get your kids' names tattooed on you because you know that love is forever. But you might not get your partner's name tattooed on you because somewhere deep down you know that you're using each other and it's not actually true love, and there's something kind of guilty and dirty about it. And that's that you're using each other because it's out of need and it's out of fear of being alone, and it's not getting your jollies met. But that's part of life too. That's like the lowest rung of the ladder. That's like your animalistic side. And so that's if nothing goes wrong. And something always goes wrong. And most people go wrong at the very beginning and they're stuck on autosexual their whole life. It's extremely rare that someone's a true heterosexual. And for someone to be a true homosexual, that's extremely rare. And you can tell that a gay guy is way smarter than a normal guy, than a so-called straight guy. Because a normal so-called straight guy is an auto. An actual gay guy can easily outwit and outsmart a normal so-called hetero guy, because the hetero guy is actually an auto. And that's like 99% of people are autos. And they've never even had sex. They think they've had sex, but they've only masturbated into somebody. They think they've had sex, they have a kid and they have a grandkid. They've never actually had sex. So here's the cast iron pan for making naan bread. So something always goes wrong. And when it does, you get stuck on some stage. And I believe that I've went through the stages. In my 20s, I was stuck somewhere in between straight and gay. I was bi in my 20s. But I was too sheltered and scared and repressed to admit it, to accept myself. But I would have liked to have, but I was scared of what it would have meant. So even with Kevin, it was kind of like very green. Our experience wasn't really that intimate. And Kevin was just a toy Travis was a real man, and Travis was like the best, and Kevin was just like an accessory. Like, you know, Kevin, I don't know. Kevin has a fat wife. Kevin's wife asked him to marry her. He's one of those kind of guys. Kevin's a gay guy with a obese mom, a skinny dad, and a wife. That's the kind of guy Kevin is. Now, is that any different than Travis? I'm saying all these things as negatives about Kevin. Is that any different than Travis? Well, well, no, really. No, Travis is just hotter. Travis is super hot and smarter, and I just love Travis more. Travis is a genius, and you know, kind of miss Travis. I love Kevin too. Kevin is just pure delight. But he's just a bore, you know. He's not interesting like Travis. Kevin won't make you laugh. Kevin can't make you laugh. Travis can make you laugh. Kevin, that's the difference. And Marina laughed at my jokes yesterday. I didn't even mean to be funny. It felt so cool. Would I do things with a guy for Marina's pleasure? I don't know. I don't even know if that would be a fantasy. Unless it's with Travis. But even then, I don't even know. I don't even know if that's what she was asking. She just said, "Are you bi?" And I said, "I don't know. My 20s, kind of in my 20s. It's a passing phase." So washing cast iron with soap is fucking displeasing. Because you have to have this oil coating on it, which you don't want the soap to merge with. Trying to have good posture. I want to become a super hot guy. I really feel like I could be a stripper. Now that Marina loves me, I actually feel like I could be a stripper. And a skinny stripper. I don't have to be fucking super muscles. I can be just normal guy stripper. The highest paid stripper I met at the club last time I was there, she was fucking fat. She's like, I hate girls who have gross smelling pussies. And I was like, yeah, I had a girl with a gross smelling pussy once, and I felt like puking. And she's like, what did it smell like? And I was like, shit. And she laughed. And I was like, if you have a gross smelling pussy, you should be in prison. And she was like, yeah, I agree. And she was like super rich. And I could tell why she was rich, because she just had like this vibe about her that she could like find you. I don't mean she could find you like a GPS tracker. I mean, when she's talking to you, wherever you are in space and time in your psyche, she can find where you are. And she's a good communicator. Really, I thought she was spiritual. Now, she was a bit racist too. She said, I don't like Indian guys because they're stinky. And I said in my mind, my brother's a stinker, right? Which is like really funny. And, well, I don't talk to him anymore. He's really gay, actually. He's like aggressively gay, and he has a gun, and he's kind of scary. So, but I miss him too. He's one of the most sensitive people. And he's not actually stinky, he's hygienic. I just joke But when this girl was saying it, she actually meant it. She was like, "Oh, I don't like them. They're stinky." And that's what I found funny. I was like, my brother's a stinker, right? It really offended me. And then I felt like, man, if I was a stinker, you would actually miss out on me. Like you would like I would still be the same guy and you actually wouldn't even talk to me because of my fucking skin color. Like that's crazy. That's actually crazy. Like your life actually is not as good if you're racist. Like you'll miss out on good people. Personally, I'm not racist because I've had sex with every race. I've had sex with a stinker. I've had sex with a, well, I've done some stuff with a half Asian. I've been obsessed with an Asian. And then I've gotten a hand job from a black girl. I've done some other stuff with another black girl. I've had a Norwegian. I've had a Swedish girl. I've had a crush on a Native American who her boyfriend almost showed me naked pictures of her, but he said, I can't do that. He's like, I wish I could. He's going through on his camera right in front of me. And I was really good friends with her. And I don't know what other races there are. I'm sure I've had some other ones too. And tried to make a German, and I guess those are all Caucasians. I don't really have any favorite race in general, but I like the stinkers because they are really educated. And when you're used to being gaslit by people, it's nice to feel understood because a lot of times when you're gaslit, it's by people who are just frankly dumb. And so when you're talking to someone who I can go, okay, because of your skin color, I know that you have a PhD. And so everything I'm going to say, you're going to understand it immediately. And everything I don't say, you're going to infer. And so where are the most enlightened people from? India. So is that my favorite race? Because they're the most spiritual? Well, is Osho my favorite person? Yeah. But Osho also didn't let stinkers into his commune. He said, in general, I don't like stinkers because all the stinkers never even care about spirituality because all the enlightened people are from India. So therefore, everyone in India takes enlightenment for granted. And they don't even care at all about spirituality because they say, well, the guy down the street is enlightened, so I don't need to be. So in general, it creates a polarity where there are the most enlightened stinkers, but then the majority of people in India are actually not enlightened because they take it for granted that enlightenment doesn't mean anything because it's so common, because there's so many mystics in India. So in general, Osho didn't let the stinkers into his commune, but he did say, if you really are needing to get with me, you will. I will be reachable to you. If you really have to find me, you will find a way. If you have to be with me, you will find a way. And so my stinker girlfriend was great. I named her Scorpion. She was really smart. And she got abandoned by her mom when she was 12. And I'm afraid of German Shepherds. And she has a Malinois dog. Here's the gang stalkers calling me. She has a Malinois dog. It's like a German Shepherd on steroids. It's like the super fierce version of a German Shepherd. And I was never afraid of her dog. Are they calling again? That could be punishment. Like, I hung up the phone, and so they're like, oh, we'll call you again. Well, when you have a girlfriend, you're totally beyond gang stalking. Like, when you have, like, when you have when your life is not feeling like you're missing out, and this is dangerous, what I'm saying. I'm basically saying everything sucks until I have a girlfriend. And that's basically putting a lot of pressure on me that it better work. You better not look down. You're reaching high heights there, and if you fall, it's going to be painful. But once you have what you want, and you're not missing out, and you're not settling for second best. I talked about Chelsea with Marina last night. I said, "You're better than Chelsea." She said, "Am I prettier than her?" I was like, Chelsea's a 10 as well, but I would take you over Chelsea. And spiritually and personality-wise, I would also take you over Chelsea. And when you're not missing out and you're not settling for second best, most people marry the runner-up. The first one gets away, then they marry the second one. Then you have a good life with your family. Nothing works until you get what you want. You have your goals and you have an order of your goals. And your first goal is sex. And until you get that, you don't care about your family, you don't care about your work, you don't care about anything. That's the truth, isn't it? But once you have that, then you have your family, then you have your friends, then you have your hobbies, then you have your meditation. Your needs are met on the hierarchy. On Maslow's hierarchy, you can then reach your top need, your spirituality. And when you have all of those needs met, and then the gang stalkers call, you think, well, I don't even care. Go ahead and call me. You're not going to ruin my day. That agent, that billionaire, that George Soros or Larry Fink or whoever that trillionaire is, who has all their money and assets, and they say the richest person is a billionaire, it's Elon Musk. Whoever the person who has like $50 trillion of net worth, who is organizing and help facilitating gang stalking, they couldn't have sex with Marina. That's ultimately that's what it equates to. I get a phone call and I say that's Larry Fink calling, that's George Soros calling or someone. They couldn't have sex with Marina. There's someone who's jealous of me that they couldn't have sex with Marina, and that's why they're calling. And they're bitter about it. And it doesn't make Marina stop loving me that they call me, and it doesn't make me stop loving her. It doesn't ruin my relationship with my family and my friends. It doesn't make it so that when I go to Bentan, they're going to make my food bad. I already tell Bentan, I'm being gang stalked. If they tell you bad stuff about me, it's not true. So don't make my food bad, please. And they make it good for me. It doesn't affect my fucking restaurant food. Now, if Marina didn't call last night, I would be slamming the phone. I'd be like, you motherfuckers, you're ruining my life. And Marina fucked me over, fuck her, fucking bitch. And it's all hopeless. And it's all hopeless. That's what I'd be saying. So is that God? Did God put Marina in my life? Or is that karma? Is karma God? Does karma mean that I do my best to be a good person, and then when someone else who's doing their best to be a good person finds me and I find them, that we naturally get synchronized? And then what about the luck of meeting each other? Was that God? Does God always deliver and test you? That you do everything you can for God until you're exhausted and burnt out, and then you just wait. Is that part of it? That you do everything you can for God, and then you just wait, and you wait, and you wait, and you etc., etc. And then after you stop hoping anymore, and you still keep doing your best. This is poetic. This is probably not true. But if I wanted to be poetic, this is how I'd say it. You still keep doing your best even though the hope is gone. Even though you've thought that God has actually abandoned you and that there's no reward for it anymore. You still do your best because it's better than doing your worst. And then, when you've actually stopped even hoping, you've stopped believing in God, then you find Marina. Then something happens and you go, oh wow. Then you say, oh my God. I was an atheist, but now I'm a believer. Because saying, oh, random theory in bed, oh, random theory, it doesn't sound as good as saying, oh God, oh God. You know, I'm a believer now. Okay, I stole that joke from Robert Anton Wilson. So I want to be a hot guy, really. And I want to have money. I think being a stripper would be the way to do it. And for that, I'd have to eat fruit or do a water fast. But Marina doesn't want me to get more skinny. I don't want to get more skinny either, obviously. And I have like no muscles. If I were to act, I'm like 30% fat and I'm skinny. If I had muscles and I weighed the same amount of weight, I would look different. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me. This video is too long. It's too long. I have to cut the video off. Otherwise, it's not going to upload on my tablet, and I'm going to have to put the quality down to 720 or even like 480. I don't want to do that. So I think we talked about everything. So I hope you like the sound quality and all that.